Let's see if we can talk about varnishes together for a minute. First of all, we have a satin varnish, a matte varnish, and a gloss varnish. There is also a decoupage varnish that is real thick. But let's deal first with the basic varnish. Working with a polyurethane is a new, very different experience. You know, when you work with an oil-based varnish, you are very used to applying it and being able to work it and work it and work it. Working with a polyurethane water base, you, at least in your first couple coats, mustn't work it and work it and work it. I'm going over a paint that is matte. And when I put the water-based polyurethane on, immediately the matte paint goes and soaks up the moisture from the polyurethane varnish. So what is remaining on the surface is a thicker polyurethane. And if you go over it and over it, you begin to gather it up. And I'll see if I can demonstrate that to you or for you in on one of the sides. If you are a person who likes to be able to stroke and stroke and stroke your varnish, I would highly recommend, until you get used to the water-based polyurethane, that you give the surface a coat of clear glaze medium. Now, clear glaze medium is a light sealer, and I've already put some into a little container and labeled it. So I'll open it here. And so this is clear glaze medium. I have a synthetic brush. That's what I prefer to put it on with. And it's dry. It doesn't have to be wet. If it was wet, it wouldn't hurt. And I'll put a coat of clear glaze medium on this surface and brush it out nicely. And you can play and play and play with this, okay? There's no problem. Now the mat is drinking it up, but it is fluid enough and formulated to, well, let's do this edge down here. To go on nice and smooth and not require the attention that the resin polyurethane requires. All right, well, let that dry under these hot lights. It probably won't take long. And let me continue on with the varnishing of this surface. Now, I don't need to clean the brush. This won't hurt. This little clear glaze medium in the brush won't hurt the varnish. This first little cup is the satin varnish as it comes from the bottle. Again, be sure you label your products when you're using them. When you grab the bottle of varnish, gently rotate it or even gently shake it like this, because if it's been sitting on the shelf a while, the matting agent will gather down at the bottom. In fact, say like you haven't varnished for 6 months or so. It will maybe be about a ½ inch. Well, shake it up. I know they say don't shake your varnish. Doesn't seem to hurt this varnish. to shake it like this. If you're worried, shake it up, let it sit, and go get a cup of coffee a while and let it come up. Then you're left with the satin varnish. There is a little matting agent in there. I'm going to work it into my brush here on the palette. All right. Now you find a starting place, and I like to slip slap lightly and don't go over it, and smooth. When you smooth, you go with the grain of the wood. On tin piece, the direction is what you, and you can see I'm having no problem. Now, don't go back over this. Slip slap, smooth. Slip slap, smooth. Let me come on around quickly for you. Slip slap, smooth. Smooth with the direction of the wood. Now I'm coming straight over the matte paint. What you can't do, precious ones, what you can't do, now I just lightly went over that. Check your edges, always check your edges for runs. What you can't do is play. Let's see if I can get it to do it here. You start your varnishing. You get on some varnish. And you're just going along, having a good time here, getting your varnish on. And you decide, oh, there's streaks there. I want to come back up and do that. Well, it's not going to do it. See if I can make it buckle up. It's just not going to do it. Well, I'm getting a little. And I don't know if you can see that. I'm getting a little clumping and buckling there. And you see how it's ridging it all? I know some of you have experienced this there. See how it's pulling, buckling? And if I get frantic and I go do more, it'll come up and buckle. You know, when you want it to do it, it just won't. But you can see a little clumping and stuff. See the moisture's going out of it. See? The resin's clumping up. See it there? All right, when that starts to happen to you, immediately stop. Stop putting the varnish on. And just smooth. Give it time to relax, and you can probably get in there. See how I can just lift that down? But you can't do it immediately. You have to know how to work it if you're going to do that. Now, I varnish immediately after painting.